There's something wonderfully peculiar about the M48. It's a motorway that used to be the main event, the headline act, the vital national artery between England and Wales. And now, it's the quieter sibling. The road that history gently stepped around. The M48 motorway is, in many ways, a relic of ambition and a survivor of change. To understand the M48, we have to rewind to 1966. That's when the original Severn Bridge opened, a spectacular suspension bridge stretching across the Severn estuary. At the time, it was nothing short of transformative. Before the bridge, crossing the estuary meant ferries or long detours inland. Suddenly, South Wales was directly connected to the English motorway network. The motorway feeding into that bridge, what we now call the M48, wasn't originally the M48 at all. It was the western end of the M4. When the Severn Bridge opened in 1966, the motorway carried the M4 designation. It was the main route west, and for 30 years it carried everything: holidaymakers heading to Tenby, commuters into Cardiff, freight lorries crossing between ports and factories. It was the gateway to Wales. But traffic grew rapidly. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Severn Bridge was struggling under volumes its designers couldn't have foreseen. It was narrow by modern standards, just 2 lanes each way, and high winds regularly caused restrictions. So, the solution was bold: build another crossing further south. In 1996, the Prince of Wales Bridge opened, wider, straighter, built for heavier traffic and modern motorway standards. And here's where the M48's identity changed overnight. The M4 was rerouted onto the new bridge, and the old stretch was renumbered as the M48. Imagine being the star striker for 30 years, and then suddenly being reassigned to the reserves. Today, the M48 runs from Awkley in England, across the Severn Bridge, and into Wales as far as Magor, where it rejoins the M4. It's quieter, but still vitally important. It serves Chepstow, provides resilience when the M4 crossing is closed, and remains a scenic and slightly more characterful route into Wales. In fact, many drivers prefer it. The Severn Bridge, carried by the M48, has that graceful, floating quality you don't quite get from the newer crossing. On a clear day, the estuary stretches wide beneath you, the structure subtly moving with the wind. You feel the engineering in a way that modern, rigid bridges don't quite allow. There's something nostalgic about it. For decades, both Severn crossings carried tolls, payable westbound into Wales. If you commuted regularly, you probably remember the toll booths, the slight slowdown, the scramble for coins, the awkward wave to the booth operator if you dropped your change. The M48 carried that ritual for many years, part of the rhythm of cross-border life. In 2018, tolls were abolished entirely, and while most traffic now favours the M4's newer crossing, the M48 remains an essential alternative. There's something I love about motorways like the M48. They represent layers of history. You're not just driving on asphalt, you're driving on a former main line, a once primary corridor that tells the story of evolving infrastructure. It also highlights something uniquely British. We don't erase old infrastructure when we upgrade it. We adapt it, renumber it, repurpose it. The M48 isn't abandoned, it isn't redundant. It's simply reassigned. And in doing so, it offers a slightly calmer, slightly more reflective drive into Wales. Less frantic than the M4, more reminiscent of 1960s motorway optimism.